Is it just going to be like like we'll just include everything, or are we going to do it like, are you going to make like cuts and stuff and like cut to certain questions? And
Okay, well, how I do it is like right now we're recording, so I'm recording to
okay.
my private channel on my channel, right? So,
Hmm.
if you want to delete anything, just let me know. Like,
Okay.
I'm not really a hard ass or anything with that stuff.
Got it.
So, like, but as of right now, I haven't really deleted much on any of my interviews because nobody
Okay.
really, like, I have a set thing that I go through, right?
Hmm.
So then, like, I'm going to ask you all the questions I want to know about, and I think that the Masternode network wants to know about. And then at the end, I'll give you your free space if you want to mention anything else.
Okay.
Cool.
Got it.
All right, so let's start. All right, welcome to Cash Alternative TV. Today we have August Domanchuk. He's a student at the University of Iowa State, and he's quite a whiz kid in the Dash circles. Him and his friend secured funding from the Masternode network, or actually the Dash community in general, to attend the Dash conference in London, England. And he's also a moderator on the Dash Nation on Discord channel, and he has a proposal called Bit to Byte that's in front of the Masternode network at the moment. So welcome to Cash Alternative TV, August.
Hey, thanks so much, Tal. Thanks for having me.
Right on. So for the people that don't know you, which is probably quite a lot, you're a newcomer to the Dash network. Can you give us a little bit of a background about yourself and how you got involved in digital currency?
Okay, so I've been in the digital currency kind of space for about a year now, and I just kind of stumbled upon Dash about 8 months or so ago. The big thing that kind of brought me just immediately kind of triggered my interest in it was the treasury system, the obviously the private and insta send features, and just the ability for people to submit proposals slash ideas for the network and to have them receive feedback and criticism, and allowing basically the community to be involved in the decisions of the network was like the big defining feature for me.
Okay, but how did you originally get into cryptocurrency?
So so I've been kind of a quote unquote computer guy for um, I think basically since my childhood, and so I've always been into programming, computer science, and I learned about cryptocurrencies and what kind of potential that they bring to our world, basically. And I didn't really have any kind of starting funds to start my initial investments, but I think I put in a few dollars into a few different cryptocurrencies about a year ago. Just kind of been following the news, following the development of some coins, and just as of recently, maybe about 3 or so months ago, I started really getting involved in the whole community side of things, and that's when I found Dash Nation on Slack, and I started communicating with the community there. Been kind of communicating with some of the developers and some of the core team. So yeah, things have just kind of spiraled, obviously, from there, and it's just been an undescribable experience in what I've learned so far, and just kind of my relationship with the community. It's been truly incredible.
All right, sounds good. So you seem quite passionate about Dash, but before we go any further, I guess we should explain to the viewers that you got attacked by a Monero troll, eh? What's this?
Yeah, a little bit less exciting than that. I tripped and fell on my face. I broke my nose actually yesterday. So we were supposed to do our interview yesterday, and I was in the hospital at that point. So yeah, sorry guys, this is not my Halloween costume, although I could very well be. But yeah, so I'm kind of recuperating.
Okay, well, props to you for coming on the show with a shiner like that on your face. I have respect for you there. That's good. So yeah, you seem passionate about Dash, and I just want to know, like, how is it that people around you are accepting you being part of the Dash network?
So in terms of like people physically around me, it's been really just incredible as far as the amount of support that we've kind of been getting. So even just kind of going as to say, our university and kind of the students in our dorm, and everyone's been really supportive. We've done like the meetups and kind of different events, and so we've just been getting a lot of really good feedback, and just kind of been, educating students and community members one by one about, the potential of this new emerging technology. And yeah, so the feedback has been really, really good so far. And that early feedback to me was enough to say, this is something really, really cool. There's a lot of potential with this. I want to, this is what I want to do with my time. And I can go a little bit more into that. But yeah, so things, like I said, just kind of kept spiraling. And that's where I am here today.
Okay, so I remember the first time that I was introduced to you on Dash Nation on Discord. You guys were doing something at Iowa State University. You were putting like a Dash logo in the window. And so that looked like it was pretty fun, and you looked like you were getting some interest from your fellow students. Have you been able to get them into Dash as well?
Yeah, definitely. And even after that, and after our, several meetups, we've had, I've been getting students kind of come to me with these new proposal ideas and business plans. And there's been different like student organizations that have come up with ideas and ways of integrating Dash into either their student org, or even just foreign exchange students being able to utilize it to, send money back and forth from their home. And as well as there's some guys on our floor had an idea for I don't know if you ever heard of something called Magic: The Gathering. It's like a card game. Anyway,
Yep,
apparently it's pretty, what's the word? Pretty serious in terms of they actually have, pretty big like competitions and kind of meetups and conferences, and so they are kind of in the works of developing some sort of sponsored team for that, where they would be essentially playing in front of thousands and thousands of people. Yeah, so just again, we've had a bunch of ideas and a bunch of use cases for Dash, and so we're slowly kind of compiling those, and I would like to work on thousands of those little side projects, but again, we're trying to focus on our current proposal, and that's the Bit to Byte.
All right, so here's something that's not talked about a lot in circles, and it's kind of important to me as a person involved with Dash, because I'm known as a dummy in the Dash Nation. I'm not a very technical person. I just like to get along with people, and I get along with people. It's part of my job at the casino. And I want to know how you feel about Dash in a different kind of way, that we usually talk about. Like I picture Dash as a movement and like having some kind of like coolness factor, and compared to like other cryptocurrencies out there. Like other cryptocurrencies like would focus on the technical, but I'm trying to start a movement with Dash Nation and everything. So how do you feel Dash compares to other cryptocurrencies and that kind of factor, that intangibles?
That was, like I said, that was one of the initial things that drew me to the community, was the community itself. And I think the biggest thing that solidified that viewpoint of myself was when, Jacob and we were able to crowdfund our trip all the way out to London, essentially by with the Dash community. And so even just in like the Slack channel, that's where we had, the most support from the community. And so I think just the kind of giving, and friendly kind of nature of the community was something that, really kind of struck a chord for me. And it's something that, you can't really say about, many other kind of communities in the cryptocurrency space.
All right. So how about your fellow students? How are they reacting to Dash Nation and being a part of that?
They're pretty hyped. We did that. I think that was that first initial meetup where, we were posting like some pictures in the Slack chat, and everyone was like, "Oh my gosh, I just got $5," and they were like freaking out, like this magic internet money. And so, after we explained it to them, they're like, "Oh my gosh, this is so cool. This is the next big thing." And so, that was, that little tiny impact that we had on them, that was enough to, make them, kind of, see the potential and how it will be something that is used as a form of payment in our everyday lives in the near future.
So I joked on the Discord that if we found an August in every university around the world, we'd be set.
I'm working on that.
Exactly. It's all about networking.
Yeah, little side note, in addition to Bit to Byte, or as possibly another portion of it, I'm looking on to do some sort of possibility of a student/university sub-DAO for the network, because of all these new ideas and these new integrations with Dash and plans that I've just gotten feedback from students. It made me think, well, hey, there's a ton of little smaller projects that we could be supporting, that don't really that don't really belong on the treasury for thousands of people to see. Maybe some of these like smaller projects is something that we could have a group of thousands of students kind of make almost submit their own kind of votes or something like that. So I don't know, that's something way off in the future, but yeah.
Well, it's like I told you viewers at the beginning, he's a whiz kid. So you see he's got tons of ideas, and he's surrounded by people that have tons of ideas as well. So I look forward to seeing what you can come up with. So the next scenario you experienced with the Dash Nation was crowdfunding your trip to the Dash conference. Can you walk us through that process?
Yeah, so that was also one of the defining kind of features of just cryptocurrency kind of in general, is that we were able to essentially fund our entire trip out to London in a matter of hours. And so that includes, buying the hotels.com gift cards with BitCart, and, being able to purchase our plane tickets with Dash. Like that was the first, like, oh my gosh, this is something that is a lot closer than we think. And just the ability to kind of expedite that whole process too, that was truly just mind blowing to me. Yeah, so I mean, we've even have talks about doing some sort of crowdfunding solution with Dash. I know that some of my friends in the community, they're working on a Dash Direct platform for allowing kind of crowdfunding of certain like smaller projects.
Okay, so I've made a great decision recently, and that was to install you as a moderator in Dash Nation on Discord. And shortly after I did so, you mentioned that you were working on with your friends creating a fully functional Dash bot for the channel. So could you run us through your progress on that front?
Yeah, so the main kind of intentions of Bit to Byte is that we give students and university students, real life, work kind of experience. And so we actually have a full team of developers that are experienced students in this field. And so, in fact, some of our developers that we have actually work with some of the developers of Discord, and there's this whole kind of sub-community of bot developers. And so right now they're working on kind of porting over all the features of the Dash bot and the tipping bot over into Discord. So that's currently under the development. We should have kind of a working kind of beta in the next few days or so. And then there's some kind of more kind of scaling issues that we're going to have to kind of overcome, at least with the tipping service, especially considering how large the Discord community could potentially be. We get into kind of some of those details that we have to work out, but we'll continue to keep everyone updated, and obviously keep our update progress transparent, and do like weekly updates in terms of where we're at with all those projects.
Okay, well, as we've seen in the Dash community recently, that communication is a very important thing. And you have currently a proposal in front of the Dash network called Bit to Byte. And for people who might not be familiar with it, or might not frequent Dash Central, might not know what's going on with this proposal, can you give a brief synopsis of what it's about?
Okay, so we do have a little TLDR video that we included in the original proposal, so I encourage you guys to check that out. But basically, the 90-second elevator pitch. So we are a student-led organization that we employ high school and college-age students to run a program that essentially provides extracurricular and after-school programs in the STEM fields for elementary school kids. So it's this mentorship program where we run all different types of classes in STEM, whether that be coding, programming, hardware stuff. We're doing a class on cryptography and blockchain. And so at the moment, our current business model is because we have the funding from the Dash Treasury, we offer all those classes for free to the community, to the kids, to the parents, and to the schools. And we also have kind of several other like branches to the program where we kind of emphasize the whole STEM education aspects. So we have a Building Futures program that allows us to provide scholarships and funding to students or to communities and schools with STEM resources and materials. We also have the Emerging Technologies branch where we will obviously keep our curriculum and our classes updated with some of these really cool emerging tech, such as blockchain and the power of this totally new industry / field, and obviously have kids kind of try out the Dash wallet, and we're going to be implementing into our curriculum. And so we have a lot of plans for that, going back to the main central idea of STEM education and increasing awareness for some of these new technologies.
Okay, so I'm going to jump into the role of devil's advocate for a minute. So if I'm a masternode owner and I'm looking at your proposal, what exactly is in it for us? Like, what do you think, how is this proposal going to benefit Dash going forward?
Okay, so one of the main things that you'll see on the proposal is a quote from some prominent community members, and basically a recap of all the feedback we've gotten from the community and from some of the core team and the developers is that educating kids early on, and even just community members in general, about the potential of this new technology, that is something that is invaluable going forward. And it's something that is harder to see short term / like, oh, next week, how is this going to make a return on my investment? I guess this kind of relates to the whole premise behind a masternode investment. It is a long-term investment solution, and so we feel that educating students and educating community members about these about Dash and about blockchain, it is something that will prove to be invaluable going forward, and it could literally be the thing that allows us to get closer to that mainstream adoption. I know that probably sounds kind of crazy. Oh, how could this team of students be the kind of the starting effort to mainstream adoption? But we truly feel that it starts with students, and it starts with in the smaller communities, and it kind of builds upon itself.
Okay, so I've read through your proposal, and you said that you were going to be active in various areas. How are you going to be able to accomplish that?
Wait, say that again.
I read through your proposal, and it said that you were going to be active in various areas, like not just in Iowa, but in other places too. So how would your team accomplish that?
So we are working on essentially like a replicating kind of platform / instructions for community members in other locations to essentially kind of jumpstart their own bit to byte / STEM education STEM education kind of programs in their communities. So we're currently focusing on just the 3 that we mentioned in our proposal, but we are in contact with some schools down in Phoenix, Arizona. We have some contacts in Africa that we will potentially be offering kind of funding and extracurricular programs for some students down there. And so right now, because we're so early on in the development, we are focusing on the current communities, but we will be providing a sort of long-term solution to expanding and offering, multiple programs in dozens and dozens of other communities around the U.S. and around the world.
All right. How many people are a part of your team?
So we have about 30 or so, I guess, students total. So we have around 12 or so kind of management positions. So we have an exec team, we have our different department heads. So we have a curriculum head, we have a marketing head, we have a developer head, and some other positions. And then we also kind of the big bulk of our students are the mentors that we have at all of our different locations. And so we're kind of expecting to grow that portion essentially exponentially as we move forward.
All right, so here's an important question. I'm going to give you a chance to tackle this criticism that was given to you on your proposal on Dash Central. Somebody considers you to be too young to be handling this kind of volume of funds, and they don't know if you're going to be handling it properly. What do you say to that? What are your plans, and how are you going to distribute the funds if the Dash network supports you?
So to actually kind of take a different approach on this question, we We essentially we agree with you. We think that to any other student, this is something that is, beyond any sort of, management skills that they have at that point. And so as our solution to this, so first of all, just a little bit background information about myself personally. So I have run a few kind of startup companies and other communities. I ran an esports industry. And so I do have some expertise in that field. But as far as, receiving consistent feedback and kind of mentorship experience from community members and, university contacts, we are actually in basically scheduled business consulting services with our local business, university business department, with our whole entire exec team. We actually have a system for fund management. So we have a purchase request form that every single person in every single department has to either, initially create to purchase either resources or materials. And we also have a verification process in a form of kind of hierarchy of approval on how those purchases are made. And we are also, so we're hiring an accountant to essentially kind of monitor all of our purchases and to make sure that we are, on a consistent schedule and, making informed decisions. And so in terms of the level of maturity and the, the accountability that we have, we think that there's more to the story than just, it's just run by a few students. Like we have, as I mentioned, we have consistent meetings and mentorship opportunities with a bunch of these university contacts, and we think that this is something that is not necessarily set in stone either. So we're obviously consistently getting feedback and new ideas and strategies from the community itself. So we'll be kind of evolving this, and we'll be doing our best to kind of keep the community updated with how we are running things internally. We want to be as transparent as possible with the community and with the master nodes.
Perfect. Yeah, so I hope if that person that gave you that criticism on Dash Central is watching, I hope that answer satisfies you.
And also going to kind of a little personal level. So I didn't necessarily want to include this in the actual proposal, but to kind of reassure the community and to the masternodes that we are taking this very seriously. So I have essentially dropped most of my classes for this semester, and I am enrolled in a few classes, and one of those is a independent study where I will be meeting with a university professor that will help me make informed decisions, that will kind of guide me and mentor me along through this process. I'll be kind of, in charge of basically producing like updates and kind of following, a certain like roadmap. And I'll also be getting a grade for this at the end. So this is something that I, have obviously, put in a lot of kind of, what's the word? This is something that we're taking very seriously, and we are trying to prioritize the development of our program and also the accountability.
All right. So yeah, there's I hear that I don't know if you want to go into this, but there's a little bit of a personal aspect to it as well with when it comes to your family. I don't know if you want to talk about that or not.
Yes. So because I am dropping some of my classes for this semester, I essentially won't be getting kind of credit back or kind of money back for those classes like I've paid for this semester already. And also I had a scholarship that essentially requires me to be a full-time student that I will not be, or that might be kind of placed on hold because I'm going to be dropping down to part-time and focusing on our proposal. So yeah, so there's a lot involved, and it's something that, personally I've struggled with as far as just kind of getting, support from, like my friends and my family. And it's something that I think over time, it'll kind of show for itself. I think that what we're trying to do and, our main mission is something that I don't feel that we can personally go wrong with that. And I think that, not necessarily looking for, looking to the next day or to the next week. I think looking long term, this is something that we are extremely passionate about and dedicated to. And so I think with those kind of personal things, it'll just take time. And so, yeah, so I hope that kind of clarifies and reassures the community.
And if you're watching Mom and Dad, it looks like he's very passionate about what he's doing. And sometimes you have to take risks in life, you know, and he's got a good team here that can support him. I vouch for that. You know, Dash Nation's very tight knit, very support each other. And I know I might not be able to convince you just by this one interview, but maybe over time you will see that it might be a good thing. So on a lighter note, anyways, let's talk about, let's pick your brain for a bit. What would you tell any other university students that might happen to be watching and say, hey, maybe I should start like a Dash project in my university? What advice would you give for them?
So I would obviously recommend that they join the Discord. They start communicating with the people in the chat. And like I said, going forward, we're looking to offer some sort of kind of student body / almost even like sub-DAO to kind of help other students get involved and kind of share this this movement. And yeah, so we're even looking to possibly add that to our bit to byte process of kind of forming these sub communities at specific schools and kind of having them kind of come on board at least with our program and contributing to our success.
Awesome. So do you have anything else that you would like to talk about before we let you go?
I think that's about it. I'll probably think of something in about 2 minutes after we end this call. But yeah, so anyway, again, I just want to thank the entire community, thank my family and friends for being supportive, and yeah, and I hope that we're given this chance to prove ourselves. Oh, one thing that we did not mention is the updates and what we kind of plan to offer in terms of how we want to be transparent with the community. And so we'll be updating, or we'll be consistently pushing out updates on our website itself. So that's currently in development. So we'll have a whole tab dedicated to updates of where we're at, how many programs we have. There'll be like links to like news articles and videos. And then we're also going to be probably pushing out a lot of the kind of local updates in the Dash Nation chat as well. So we have the bit to byte kind of sub channel. So you guys scroll down in the Discord, you'll be able to see that. So we'll be putting out a lot of updates there, and then obviously Twitter. So my tag is August James D, and then our bit to byte tag is bit2byte_org. So we can put a link for those down in the description as well.
For sure. Yeah, you took the words out of my mouth. I was going to ask you how people could contact you. But as usual, you're very enterprising, and you took that from me as well. So that's cool. Yeah, so it sounds like you're very confident, and you know what you're doing. And if the proposal doesn't pass this time, I would sincerely hope that you would reconsider and proposal next go around, because some people have those issues with the proposal. Maybe you can fix something and repropose later on. So I really wish you the best, and I hope everything goes well for you and your Dash Dash Nation at your university and your proposal as well.
Thank you so much, Tom.
You're welcome. Thanks for being on the show.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Take care.
Peace.
All right. So that's everything there. I'm going to stop the